In the Phantom Menace, although Obi-Wan was able to initially gain an advantage over Darth Maul, spurred on by the devastation of seeing his master fall to Maul's blade, the Sith Lord was able to regain the upper hand in the duel. Using the Force to push Obi-Wan off balance, he sent the Jedi tumbling down a pit within Naboo's plasma refinery complex. While Obi-Wan was able to take hold of a metal rung just below the lip of the pit, he was helpless but to watch a triumphant Maul above, as the Sith Lord taunted him and grew arrogant from the overwhelming feeling that victory was ensured. However, we know that Obi-Wan would ultimately use Maul's arrogance against him. Maul's failure to strike decisively allowed Obi-Wan to use the Force to catapult himself out of the pit and somersault behind the unprepared Sith Lord, while at the same time draw in Qui-Gon's fallen lightsaber. All Maul could do was whirl around upon Obi-Wan in shock and rage, as the Jedi's lightsaber cut him in two halves and sent the Sith plunging down the pit behind him. However, although Obi-Wan became the first Jedi to defeat a Sith Lord in roughly a millennium, his victory over Maul represented a drastic break from the tenets of the Jedi Code and those adopted by the High Council, due to the tactics that he deployed. In this video expose, I will explain why Obi-Wan's victory over Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace disobeyed the Jedi Code, and describe why Obi-Wan may have been pushed to use a strike that was considered to go against the accepted tenets of Jedi lightsaber combat. To assist every Jedi in carrying out their mission as defenders of peace and justice throughout the galaxy, the Order adopted 7 forms of lightsaber combat. Each form was uniquely designed to take advantage of the attributes available when using a lightsaber, but the forms greatly differed from each other in their ultimate focus and strategy, which resulted from the forms having emerged from different eras. However, although the 7 lightsaber combat forms were different from each other, with their own set of advantages and disadvantages, every form utilized the same set of maneuvers to end a duel, known as the Marks of Contact. The Marks of Contact refer to ways in which a Jedi would bring about an end to a duel, with different Marks of Contact designed to either disable, kill, or force an opposing duelist to surrender. The reason why the Marks of Contact were applicable to all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and thus didn't vary from form to form, was that it helped to focus the attacks and defenses of every Jedi within the Order on only a handful of clear categories that would serve as the endgame for the duel. Otherwise, if the marks weren't in place, a Jedi would have to focus on a range of possibilities to end a duel that were infinite in number. While this wouldn't be so daunting to the Order's best duelists, less capable Jedi would avoid being overwhelmed by the endless possibilities that were available to them, and could focus their strikes on achieving one of the marks. Generally, there were 9 marks, 7 accepted by the Jedi Order, which increased in severity in the way in which a Jedi was capable of ending a duel with their opponent. For example, the least severe was called Shim, a fundamental mark of contact that delivered a superficial blow with the edge of one's lightsaber, which was utilized by Dooku in his duel with Obi-Wan in Episode 2. More severe was the mark known as Cho Mai, which involved the severing of an opponent's weapon hand, a scene when Dooku disarmed Anakin in Episode 2, and again when Anakin returned the favor to Dooku in Episode 3. Demonstrating that the Jedi did accept more extreme marks of contact intended to kill, there was also a mark known as Sai Cha, which was the act of decapitating an opponent and bringing a swift end to the duel. Therefore, no matter what lightsaber combat form a Jedi was using, all of them were trained in the Order's marks of contact, and were expected to utilize them to either disable, submit, or kill their opponent. So then what made Obi-Wan's victory over Darth Maul so objectionable under the tenets of the Jedi Code, particularly when we've seen that Jedi were permitted to go as far as to decapitate and kill their opponent when there was no other option available? The reason is because in somersaulting behind Maul and slicing the Sith Lord in half, Obi-Wan utilized a mark of contact that was considered to be barbaric by the Jedi Order, and was therefore forbidden for all students. Known as Sai Tak, the mark used by Obi-Wan was one that would slice an opponent's body into 2 halves at the waist. It was forbidden, except in instances when dueling against droids, not just because it was barbaric, but also because ending a duel using Sai Tak was evidence of the furious emotions connected to the dark side. And there is evidence that the Jedi were correct in their assessment in connecting the barbaric blow with the dark side, as seen through the example of Obi-Wan. We know from the Phantom Menace novelization that Obi-Wan gave into his rage and fury when Maul's lightsaber pierced Qui-Gon through the chest. Although Obi-Wan was able to calm himself before delivering the final strike in his duel with Maul, his use of side talk to cut the Sith Lord in half demonstrated that he was unable to completely banish his anger and fear before the duel's end. Therefore, although Obi-Wan was able to avenge his master and defeat Maul, his victory broke both the tenets of the Jedi Code and the High Council. So there we have it. How the Mark of Contact used by Obi-Wan in Episode 1 disobeyed the acceptable tenets of Jedi lightsaber combat. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me, for being more merciful.